So last year I made this video about goals you should set for your music career in 2022. In this one, I'm going to review those goals and share how I did and what changes I'm planning on making in 2023. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Adam. Welcome to the channel. My goal is to help you make good money playing music. If that sounds good to you, please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. To quote myself from last year, this is just as good a time as any to do some reflecting on what you want to accomplish in the new year and also decide what things you want to leave behind in 2022. It's a good practice to go over the wins and losses experienced over the past year to make sure that you've got your priorities straight moving forward. Last year, I had some pretty solid goals I wanted to achieve. I hired a music director to help offload some pre-show tasks. I wanted to replace myself on gigs, find better gig-life balance, be more present at the gigs I did play, find more opportunities to coach you guys, and work through some ideas I had about new projects. And looking back, I managed to pretty much do all of them. So let's start with the big wins, shall we? Having a full-time music director pulled a lot off of my plate personally and allowed the band to transition to Ableton Live with way less friction. There were still definitely some hiccups, but nowhere near as many as there would have been without somebody who was dedicated to building the sessions and controlling playback. In regards to new projects, my 90s band and my pop punk group both played out this year and are starting to gain some momentum outside of the main 80s project I do. Coaching other musicians was one of my favorite things I got to do this past year. I would love the opportunity to do that more this year. And by subbing myself out, I was able to spend more time with my family while also keeping the band busy. Now let's talk about the challenges around change. In order to grow and implement new systems, it's going to push everybody out of their comfort zone. And it can take time for those systems to normalize and, well, feel normal. This next one is a great example of that. Let's talk about replacing myself. Up until this past year, I was the only constant in my main project. I have played every single show this band has done for the past 9 years. Finding someone to sing and play guitar was nowhere near the biggest challenge of this process. In 2022, we had 3 separate dates where I sent the band out without me. After the first one, our guitar player quit. I'm mostly joking. What I realized after that first gig was that there were tons of things that I was doing unconsciously when advancing a show that I was not communicating to anybody else in the group. Which means that when I wasn't there, they didn't get done. While painful and frustrating in the moment, it did provide an opportunity to open up some communication about delegating tasks to other guys in the group, so that if somebody wasn't there, stuff still happened. The rest of those gigs went much smoother and I didn't end up having to talk anybody off the ledge afterwards. Of all of those goals, being present while performing ended up being the hardest one to do consistently. Some shows were absolutely magical and I was able to be on stage, fully in the moment, and experience the joy that playing music live can make possible. Other shows had crappy turnouts or technical issues. It made it harder to not just go through the motions. If I'm being perfectly honest, the biggest hindrance to achieving that goal for me was alcohol. Look, as musicians, we can get really comfortable consuming while performing, but on more than one occasion, things got out of hand for either myself or somebody in my group, and could have negatively impacted our business. From the outside, it's extremely unprofessional to present your brand in that way. Internally, it felt like a massive failure for myself, not only as a musician, but as a business owner. It required me to have some really uncomfortable conversations with my players around professionalism and etiquette, and it forced me to take a hard look at my own habits and what I was willing or able to do to make my business successful. Now, this isn't an indictment on alcohol or a public service announcement about sobriety. I'm just trying to be transparent and honest with you guys. I've built this channel and podcast around being willing to share my mistakes so that you guys don't have to go through what I do. I'm not sure if you've ever been in that kind of situation, but if you have, having those conversations is absolutely worth doing. Now, it's better to have them before things go sideways, but if it's already gone bad, you need to take responsibility and do what's necessary to make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, this year my goals are a bit less ambitious, but no less important. First and foremost, I want to find a way to make playing music more fun. As a band leader, I struggle with getting out of my own head to just enjoy the process of making music with my friends. The same goes for casual playing. Most weeks I don't pick up my guitar for any other reason but to learn something that's work related. I need to find a way back to playing for enrichment and my own personal enjoyment. Another goal is I want to collaborate with more creators in this community. A couple weeks ago, I got the chance to sing on a project that'll be out in the next few weeks. I really enjoyed that process and I'm going to try to find more opportunities to do that this year. And lastly, I want to spend more time helping you guys. Last year, I released a blank contract and writer calculator for people looking to get into private events, a freelance expense tracker, and some backtrack resources for those who are going down that road. I also got to do Zoom calls with musicians all over the country about breaking through in their own markets and building online followings. This year, I'd like to do more coaching, release more digital products, and maybe write a book. So those are my goals. What about you? What are the things you want to accomplish in 2023? Leave those in the comments and let me know. That's gonna do it for this one. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every single Friday. Also, if you didn't know, I have a podcast. We just released our 250th episode, and it's all about ways that you can make good money playing music. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time.